Are we live?
Hi, welcome everyone to Highland Dawn Media with Nagaland and Northeast Quarterstone channel YouTube live stream from HDM Studio here in Kohima, Nagaland. I am Villa. I am an intern here at Highland Dawn Media, and I'm currently pursuing my media technologies course in Shillong from St. Anthony's College.
Hi, my name is Joel Khing. I'm 21. I'm studying mass communication and journalism in Pune, Maharashtra. I'm also an intern here at Highland Dawn Media, and today we'll be your hosts. Moving on, Villa will tell us more about what we're going to be talking about today.
Yeah, so today we are going to be discussing about employment opportunities in the following next years centered around the northeastern region, while also talking a little about the disconnect from our very own culture in pursuit of career and education elsewhere.
So, the northeastern states have received an abundance of government funding to support growth for many years. But one consequence of this has been the rampant corruption, with funds being misappropriated from projects. The mentality of depending on the government for work has had an obvious undesirable effect. So let's start by talking about opportunities that one can avail or create in this region that is mainly dominated by governmental institutional jobs. So the first segment that we are going to be talking about will be freelancing and self-employment. Well, freelancing by definition is working for oneself rather than getting employed by a person or company. So according to thrivemyway.com in 2022, there are about 38%. Can we go back to the graphic one? Yeah. So according to thrivemyway.com in 2022, there are about 38% of independent workers who identify themselves as freelancers, and 86% of these freelancers work from home. 33% of these freelancers work within a creative industry, and 55% of these freelancers still work a full-time job. So this means a freelancer is pretty much a person who handles the entire process from finding a gig, billing, contracting, to finding clients, and so on. So in my personal experience, I have worked as an intern for a company where I used to write articles centered mostly around gaming. So I had to write 3 articles a day, 6 days a week, which is quite hectic for that time, I guess, that period of time that I worked there. They made me work tirelessly and had to manage all these things along with college work, cooking, going out with friends, trying to give time to every aspect of my life. So in that sense, it could be kind of hectic if you're trying to manage too many things at the same time. But at the same time, if I were to fully invest myself, if I had been trying to fully invest myself into that one job in particular, maybe I could balance myself, balance my life and my daily activities even more evenly. And my other experience with freelancing was when I worked with a client. I worked as their graphic designer and edited some videos for them. So I used to make products, packaging, or some graphics posters, some graphic videos as well. Well, I worked for this client from September of 2020 to December of 2020. Well, it was an interesting experience where I learned quite a lot of things. I made quite a lot of mistakes, which I could have maybe prevented if I did a little bit of research before I started. Well, practice is really important, and this period of time was a great opportunity to practice my skills. So I saw myself regularly referring to online videos or online tutorials for all sorts of things, from utilizing software shortcuts to finding out how to open a certain menu in the software, or finding out different designs which I could reference, and so on. You do not need any license to prepare any GST related registration for freelancing in India unless your income exceeds 20 lakhs. Well, that makes it easier for most of us looking for creative jobs in many creative fields. However, despite how free freelancing can be, you yourself will have to manage the entire process, and in some fields, like for example, some fields may require some licenses. For example, if you were a doctor and you wanted to give some advice to some company, that could be a freelance kind of like a gig, but that would require you to have some sort of like medical degree. So in that context, maybe you might need some qualifications, but otherwise, usually most creative jobs do not require such qualifications. You just need to display what you're skilled at, and if you're good enough, people will come to you. But please do remember that even if you're not a huge company and you're just starting out, billing and making invoices is also important, so that you can keep a track record of how much you're paying, how much the clients are paying you, or how much they're supposed to pay you. So it's supposed to keep a track record, right? So that there's no mismanagement, there's no miscalculation in between, or misunderstanding in between. If it's just a verbal agreement, things can get kind of entangled in a later period of time. So along with the invoice, it is also a good practice to make contracts. So for example, in case you'll be working with a client for a week or a day or even a month, it's better to keep some contracts. So can we have an example for a contract, graphic 3 maybe? Yes, waiting for graphic 3. Yeah, so on YouTube and Facebook, you might be able to see the reference that's given over there. It's like a reference contract where you can like Google all these freelance contract templates where you can fill it out yourselves, and then you can have your client and yourself sign it, and then it serves as a evidence, or serves as like an agreement that you have had with each other, right? So that in the future you might not have you may not face issues regarding if the client underpays you, or if your services were completely not provided to the client. So it becomes like an assurity for both parties. And one last thing is, can we have the last graphic? Yeah, so another important aspect is marketing. So some research on marketing strategies must be done as well, since scaling and growing a gig or business requires one to know how and whom to reach. We should learn about what we are going to sell, how much we are going to sell it for, where we are going to sell it for, to whom are we selling it to, and how are we going to promote it so that, like, we get more clients, we get more attraction. So we should learn about who will be consuming it, right? Like, will it be normal everyday people, or will it be companies that will be hiring you? Or if it's a product, or if it's a service that a certain gender might avail, or if it's a particular age group, right? Like, for example, you make some toys, it's for kids, or you make some videos for kids, so it's for kids, or you make some let's say maybe something that adults might use. So like you need to identify your audience in that context. And also always research and look out for mistakes that people may have made in that area, or that for example, someone might have ventured into the same thing that you might be thinking of venturing into, but they might have failed. So try to research on why they might have failed, or try to contact them and ask them how did they approach that certain field, right? So accordingly, we can improve ourselves by learning from their mistakes. And so from now, Vila will be telling us more about the trends in the various job trends that will be coming up in the future years.
Yes, so we all know that the world is drastically moving towards a digital era, and in this point of time and in the few years, where do we stand? So let's talk about some of the few job trends that we may be seeing in the next years, and I will also show you on the screen. Number 1. Virtual Store Sherpa. It will focus on customer satisfaction through virtually advising customers using the knowledge of the product line. Personal Memory Curator will consult with patients and stakeholders to generate specifications for virtual reality experiences. The third one will be Augmented Reality Journey Builder will collaborate with talented engineers and technical artists to develop vital elements for clients. Highway Controller will monitor automated road and airspace management systems so that no errors can occur. Body Part Maker, they will create living body parts for athletes and soldiers. Elderly Wellness Consultant, they will cater to the physical and mental needs of the elderly. Memory Augmentation Surgeon will boost patients' memory when it hits the capacity. There's no doubt that we Nagas are gifted, as we can presently see the rise in Nagas exploring various avenues that involves their artistic and creative minds, like event management, culinary, gift wrapping, photography, videography, music, dance, and not forgetting the rise in cafe culture, which is employing quite a lot of people. Now, the thing is, how will you and I stand the test of time when the whole world is moving into a digitalized age? Considering all the job trends that I mentioned earlier, where do we stand as artistic people? Being a photography enthusiast myself, what about me? What about photographers, videographers, artists, sculptors, and illustrators? It was just this year that I realized how important it is to upskill myself to stand out. After a few research, I came down to some few skills that I thought were more important to me in the future, because a concern about a jobless future has never been greater. First of all, I would like to stress on how important it is to have basic computer knowledge. Once you know the basic, you will learn things along the way. Secondly, you need to know how to use editing softwares like Adobe editing softwares from the point of view as a photography enthusiast, DaVinci Resolve, Avid Media Composer, etc. Or whatever occupation it is, you need to know your skill. You need to upskill yourself in a way you will remain relevant in the future. We may be the best in our field, but how do people know we exist? It is by marketing ourselves and taking advantage of the online platforms, digital marketing and social media marketing. When we are starting out as freelancers, we are usually a one-man army because we do not have quite the money to hire a digital marketer or a social media marketer. We are usually a one-man army, so we do need the knowledge to market ourselves to a bigger audience, establish an online presence. I took up a course by Google Digital Garage on the fundamentals of digital marketing, and trust me, this helped me quite a lot to know about the nitty-gritty of how digital marketing works and how I can leverage that. There are also many free courses on Coursera, edX, Udemy. Be sure to check it out. Creativity will become even more important in the growth of jobs between now and 2030. Our future economy will be built on creativity and technology, which means we will need to have the ability to combine our digital and creative skills, which brings me to the infamous NFTs. Well, maybe not here in Nagaland, but selling photos as NFTs has become very popular among the photographers. Not only photographers, but illustrators, graphic designers, etc. So you can make a huge sum of money because even though the buyer has the copyright ownership, the photographer or the seller still has the copyright and reproduction rights. However, to sell your photos and your creations as NFTs, we need the right knowledge on blockchain and cryptocurrency, of course, which is currently not so prevalent here in Nagaland. I believe once we are given the right education on all this, we could be really making a huge sum of money. And also, this is not to offend anybody, but out here, according to my experience, I feel we Nagas a little behind others in terms of employment and work culture. I would say that professionalism is there, but not up to that level. Here in Nagaland, family ties and connections matter the most. Building family connections solely for the purpose of getting a job will be our Naga version of networking. when in reality you should be networking with talented people and people that will add value to your profession.
So, with time, young individuals from the Northeast have, with basic education, have left their homes states to seek employment elsewhere in the nation due to the government's limited ability to recruit, the lack of private sector jobs, and in the Northeast, and opening up of the Indian economy. Well, this is a major setback for the Northeast since the brightest and the most productive residents are leaving. Well, maybe they could stay if we could find local investors here, or join or attract outside investments, and maybe they would stay if basic amenities or infrastructure such as a reliable power source, water supply, good roads, and maybe connectivity to, I don't know, various places, or connectivity in regards to network is maintained by our state government. Coming back to the individuals leaving the state, there's a phenomena caused by this disconnect. So this phenomena is the disconnect from our culture. Speaking from my own experience, I have lived outside Nagaland for almost my entire life. So I have had very little interaction with my culture. That includes my language, clothing maybe a little bit, and then maybe some practices such as dancing, or some cultural events, some festivals. Although I might have kept in touch with some of them, there's this like disconnect that's created among us after we leave our states for a better life perhaps. So for example, if I were to talk in regards to my language, embarrassingly, I am not that familiar with either my mother tongue or my father tongue, because the environment that I've grown up in has influenced me to interact with the other people that I'm surrounded with. So I'm more accustomed to the culture that's around me rather than the culture back home, because it felt so distant. Similarly, do you have anything to say about language?
Yeah, I do have some similar experiences, even though I didn't see a drastic change in me, but I stay in Shillong, and I almost every day, every second I talk through the English medium. So whenever I come back for holidays here in my village, I usually find it a little difficult to to make the people I'm conversing with comprehend what I'm trying to say, those little phrases. I just tend to forget, or I remain oblivious to it. So yeah, I think I would agree on that.
Yeah. Similarly, I think there are times when there are so many tribes in the Northeast, right? It isn't just Nagaland, the tribes in Nagaland, but the entire of Northeast. There are many tribes, there are many communities, right? So there are also times when many of these communities have different sorts of clothing, so we are unable to identify which one is which. Sometimes they look so similar, or you get confused. So unless you have actually stayed there and then worn them on a very regular basis, and then you're aware of the history and culture regarding it, it's quite difficult to make out what's your root. And then coming back to it, there are lots of agencies and organizations out there that help clarify queries and doubts in regards to career choices, and exploring many other options for self-employment.
So right now we are talking to you from Highland Dawn Media, which has also initiated a venture project called NEIB, or Northeast India and Beyond. So NEIB, they seek to promote the mission and vision on bringing about viable positive changes, promoting and encouraging local entrepreneurs, bringing socioeconomic awareness, and the goal to create 10,000 jobs for our region. Therefore, you can always keep in touch with us for any queries on our socials: Facebook, Instagram,
YouTube, and Twitter. Thank you so much for watching. Please share, subscribe, and stay tuned till our next broadcast. Thank you.
Bye.
Bye-bye.